What's up, guys? It is Frankie here. It is week 1 of the 2021 NFL season. It's finally here. Preseason is done. The biggest NFL season ever is about to begin. And so it is time to make predictions for week 1 in the 2021 NFL season. We're going to be breaking down every game. We're going to be picking each game based on the spread. So we hope you follow along all year, and we hope you make a little bit of money as well. So with all that said, let's get started. On Thursday night, we get the first game of the season. The Dallas Cowboys take on the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 7.5-point favorites. This is also the return of Dak Prescott after being injured last season in Week 5 with an ankle injury. I think Tampa Bay is in a great position here to repeat. They brought all their starters back. Brady, as long as he hasn't fallen off the cliff yet, and I don't think he will. It will happen eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen now. I think he'll continue to excel. He and Bruce Arians are going to click even more in their second year together. The Bucs' defensive front will be just as elite as we saw them in the Super Bowl, and that is not good news for Dak, because if you're coming off an ankle injury, the last thing you want to do is to be facing that front four. We don't know how healthy Dak is going to be. He didn't get any preseason reps, I believe. I still do think that Dallas is going to win the NFC East, because someone has to win that division. It is the weakest division once again. And I just feel like they're the most talented team. You look at Dak when he's healthy. We know what Zeke can do. Cooper, Gallup, Lamb. It's a pretty good group of guys. The big problem is their defense. They have the 31st run defense in the league, last year at least. It should be slightly better because they have guys like Neal and KZ. They drafted Michael Parsons. I don't think it'll be good enough, though, to compete with Leonard Fournette, to compete with Brady and Gronk, working together again, to compete with a Tampa crowd that's going to be fired up, the banner's going up. The place is going to be nuts. Thursday night primetime game. It's going to be a great, great atmosphere. I just think Tampa Bay is going to have so much going for it on this night that I just think it's too much for Dallas. I think Tampa Bay is going to win the NFC. They're my pick right now to win the NFC. I think they're going to show that here. They're the best team in the NFC, and I think they will show that here on opening night against the Cowboys. Give me the Buccaneers -7.5. On Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites. Both of these teams turned over new leaves in the offseason. A lot of changes made on both ends. Eagles got rid of Doug Peterson. They replaced him with Nick Sirianni. Falcons let go of Dan Quinn. They replaced him with Arthur Smith. Neither team, I feel like, is going to be a serious contender this year. If I had to pick one, it would probably be Philadelphia because, I don't know, I'm maybe more of a believer in Jalen Hurts than others. I think he and Devontae Smith are going to be excellent together. You add that with Goddard and Sanders, I think it's a nice offensive group. I just think the defense is going to sink this team. They allowed 27 points 9 times last year. I don't think the linebackers are very good. Atlanta is going to miss having Julio Jones there, but Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley are going to do a decent job filling in. Arthur Smith, I think, will be a good addition for this team if he applies what he did in Tennessee, if he does that here. I mean, he turned around Ryan Tannehill's career. Maybe he can do that here with Matt Ryan. I think this is a game that they're going to outplay the Eagles' corners. The Falcons' defense, though, is their biggest problem. They allowed the most passing yards in the NFL last year. The offensive line struggled last season as well. I think both teams will have a field day offensively. The defenses are going to struggle. In the end, though, if you have to give me one, I say Atlanta wins it. I think they have the slight edge. They have the home field advantage. And just a few more weapons on offense. All of that leads to the Falcons winning the first game of 2021. Give me the Falcons -3.5. The Pittsburgh Steelers face off against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 6.5-point favorites. I'm just going to go out and say it. The Bills are my Super Bowl pick. I love this Bills team right now. And I think the Chiefs are a little bit better. They're more talented, but I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. And the reason why, the biggest reason in my head is Josh Allen has gotten better and better with every year. Every year, this guy, he did what I wanted Sam Darnold to do on the Jets. He's done what I wanted Daniel Jones to do on the Giants. He's gotten better and better every year. And I think Stephon Diggs was the weapon he needed. I think they're going to be fantastic together. The Bills' offense is pretty much the same, with the exception of replacing John Brown with Emmanuel Sanders. The defense, one of the best in the league. And you guys got like White and Wallace and Johnson, Hyde and Poyer as your safeties. I think Buffalo is going to take another big step this year, just like they have every other year. The Steelers are a weird team. They had a weird season last year. Started off 11-0, and then they went 1-5 in their last 6. Completely fell apart. And an embarrassment against the Browns in the playoffs. This is what feels like the 5th straight season that Ben Roethlisberger is going into what could be his last season. I feel like this has happened every year that people think, oh, this is it for Big Ben. He's going to go. I mean, we're closer to that, but I'm not a believer in it until I see it. I think it all depends, though, if this is his last year on how good he is or how bad he is. Like, if he has a year like Drew Brees, then yeah, this will probably be it for him. They have some good weapons he has some good weapons at his disposal. They drafted Najee Harris, Juju Smith-Schuster. or he's going to join along. Najee Harris is going to join alongside Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster. Got a nice group there. T.J. Watt is going to be leading this defense, so that's going to be good there. I just don't know what kind of Steelers I'm going to get. Am I going to get the first half of 2020 Steelers, or am I going to get the second half? I am concerned about Big Ben's arm. That'll be a problem there. I just have a lot of faith in Josh Allen right now. I have a lot of faith in this offense. I believe the Bills are right now. I think they're going to cover the spread here. Big believer in this team. I think they get this season off on a good note. And yeah, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I think it all starts here in Week 1. Give me the Bills -6.5. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. There is a lot more intrigue, I feel like, about Cincinnati in this game than there is Minnesota, even though the Vikings are favored. You got Joe Burrow coming back after looking great in his first season, suffering a really bad knee injury, but he's back. I don't know how healthy he's going to be. He does have a good offensive team built around him, though. Love the addition of Jamar Chase. I love what these teams are doing now, which is let's take our young quarterback and let's draft him one of his teammates out of college, who we had a lot of great chemistry with. And so I think he and Chase will work well together. I think Joe Mixon, I think he's back. His foot looks to be back to normal. Let's hope so. I think the Bengals have a good future ahead of them. I just don't think it's going to be this year that they're going to be able to make a playoff run. Maybe next year or the year after that, but I just think now it's not enough. I think this is a game in which the Vikings, the Bengals also, they have a problem with their offensive line and their defense. I just think this is a game in which the Vikings are just going to be better on both sides of the ball. The Vikings are a team that they are way better on paper. They were a big disappointment last year, finishing 7-9. Kirk Cousins is a mystery wrapped inside of enigma. You never know what you're going to get with them. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I think he'll be good in this game. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Thielen, I think they'll torch Cincinnati's defense. The Vikings defense with guys like Hunter and Tomlinson, Patrick Peterson, they'll limit Cincinnati's offense enough. I think Mixon will struggle against the Vikings front seven. Zimmer will draw up a good game plan for this game. All this is pointing to the Vikings on the road getting a decisive win in their season opener. I'm liking the Vikings in this game. Not all season, but I'm liking them in this game. Give me the Vikings -3.5. The San Francisco 49ers will face off against the Detroit Lions. The Niners are 7.5-point favorites. This game is very, very interesting. I have no idea who's starting this game for the Niners. I'm pretty sure who I know is going to start next year, but tonight, or for this first game, we could have Trey Lance, we could have Jimmy G. We really don't know. Whoever is starting this game for the Niners, I think San Francisco wins, because I think this is actually, if you want to start Lance, I think this is a really good spot to start Lance. Because the Niners are healthy again. Injuries killed them last year. They're all healthy. You got Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, George Kittle. I think they're all going to have a sensational year if they're healthy. Real solid offensive line when you re-sign Trent Williams. Top tier defense, Nick Bosa, Armstead, D Ford. They were a top 7 defense against the run and the pass last year. So whoever's starting at quarterback should have a good year considering all the talent around them on offense and defense. And if you do want to start Lance, another thing that benefits is that you're going up against a rebuilding team in the Lions. Now, you are on the road, but the Lions are a rebuilding team. New coach in Dan Campbell, new quarterback in Jared Goff. The fall of Jared Goff is pretty remarkable. That he went from the Super Bowl 2 years ago to being on one of the worst teams in the league. That is the same path, by the way, that Jimmy G is on right now. We'll see if the same thing happens there. But the Lions defense was awful last year. They allowed the most rushing touchdowns of any team. They'll be a little better. They drafted 4 defensive players, but it won't be enough. No matter who the quarterback is for the Niners, they will be in complete control of this game. The Niners, I think, win this one pretty handily, no matter who the quarterback is. Give me the Niners -7.5. The Arizona Cardinals will go up against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are 3-point favorites. The story of this game is 2 top-tier receivers making their debuts on new teams. You have A.J. Green making his debut alongside DeAndre Hopkins. That's good news for Kyler Murray. He showed great strides last year. A real exciting dual threat. Had maybe the play of the year last year with that Hail Mary to Hopkins. So there's an improvement there. Now you add Green. The defense got an improvement by adding J.J. Watt. We don't know how healthy he's going to be coming off his hamstring injury. But if he's healthy, he and Xavier Collins will help out the Cardinals there on defense. Arizona had a rough ending to last season. And I think that will continue here going on the road here in this first game. Tennessee welcomes Julio Jones onto their team. If you're Ryan Tannehill, you got to just love the idea of Derrick Henry and Julio Jones on the same team. I'm hoping Derrick Henry's going to have another awesome season, and I think he will. The only thing that, if you're a football fan, you worry about is running backs' peaks are so short. They are so small. And I'm hoping that it can continue at least for another year, but I don't know. With all the miles that he has on him in the last couple of years, I don't know. But I think it will continue. I think, but I'm not 100% confident. The one concern with Tennessee, though, but yeah, if he's healthy, if he's good, then he's going to be an amazing threat again. The one concern with Tennessee is their defense. It got some good players, but I don't think it's very good as a whole. They were number 28 overall last year. They allowed the 9th most points. This game, I think, will be an offensive explosion. It could go either way, but I think in the end, Tennessee home field, they're just a little bit better. The combination of Jones and Henry will be enough here in this game. Give me the Titans -3. The Seattle Seahawks will play the Indianapolis Colts. The Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites. A lot of drama surrounding the Colts in this game. You have Carson Wentz, who had an Icarus-level fall from grace, from about to be MVP of a Super Bowl team, a champion, to being booed out of town, back into the arms of Frank Wright, who really elevated his game there in Philadelphia. And now it's announced that he needed foot surgery. We're not sure if he's going to be ready for week 1. We think he will be. But if not, Jacob Eason, Sam Ehlinger, Jalen Morton, and Brett Hundley are all in competition to see who will be the starter. It's like the Fantastic Four if none of them had powers. I think Indianapolis, if Wentz is healthy, could make a playoff run this year because you have a very good offensive line. Xavier Rhodes, real good corner there. On the offensive side, you got Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack. The Colts will be good this season, just not, I think, in the first game. Seattle has had a lot of drama in the offseason. Russell Wilson, we didn't know if he was going to come back. I think this will be his last season. I think something's going on there. I think this will be his last year with Seattle. Wilson had an MVP caliber season last year. I think that continues with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. The defense, who knows how they'll be this season, but it will help that they get to take on a back. If they take on a backup in the first game, that will certainly help them. If you could guarantee me that Wentz is starting this game, I think I would take the Colts. But I'm not sure who it's going to be, so I'm going to stick with Seattle here. I think Russ will be motivated to start off the season well. Even if the Hawks defense struggles, he will be good enough to lead Seattle to a win here on the road. First game of the season. Give me the Seahawks -2.5. The Los Angeles Chargers compete against the Washington to be determines. The Chargers are a 1.5 favorite. Justin Herbert had one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen in this league. 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler. That's a great trio for him to throw to. Losing Hunter Henry, not good, but they did do a solid job, I think, replacing him with Jared Cook. The offensive line, one of the best in the game. Corey Linsley, Rashawn Slater, Brian Bulaga. They're going to be put to the test, though, in week 1 because you got Chase Young, Monty Sweat, Jonathan Allen, and Darren Payne. I mean, that's a pretty nice front four. Washington had a pretty remarkable season last year. You had Alex Smith having one of the most inspiring ones we've ever seen in the history of sports. Not just football, but sports. Smith's gone now, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is in. The legend of Ryan Fitzpatrick is beyond fascinating. He's been on every team, it seems like. He can be ridiculously hot and unbelievably cold. His beard, everything about him is just so weird. He's got a pretty good receiving core to throw to. We got Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Adam Humphries. We've already talked about how good the defense is. You got Jackson, you got Davis. That'll elevate them even more. I think the Chargers are a better team. I think they have a much better chance of contending for a playoff spot. But I think in this game, I'm going with Fitzpatrick in Washington. I feel like everywhere Fitzpatrick has gone, everywhere he goes, he starts off and he's amazing. He looks like John Elway. And then eventually somewhere like the middle to the end of the season, he looks like Nathan Peterman. So I think that will continue here. I think Fitzpatrick starts his Washington career off well, and he lets people think for a second, maybe this guy should be the starter next year. Fitzpatrick was given, I think he'll have an incredible start. It'll make people think Washington's going to win the division. That's how dominant a performance I think he'll have at home. Give me Fitzpatrick. Give me Washington. I say they pull off the upset here. Give me Washington +1.5. The New York Jets face off against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are 4.5-point favorites. This is the Sam Darnold revenge game. As somebody who lives in New Jersey, I saw a lot of Darnold in his last 3 years. While he was really bad for the Jets, I don't know how much of that was his fault. Because you had terrible coaching. You had Todd Bowles, who knows nothing about offense. And then you had Adam Gase, who was the worst coach in this town since Rich Kotite. If Darnold is really good, I would love. If he's really good, I don't know if he is, but if he's good, I would love to see him take DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrence Marshall, and David Moore and have them torch what could be the worst secondary in the league. And don't forget, Christian McCaffrey's back and he's healthy. There's no excuse for Sam Darnold this year. You've got the weapons, you got the talent, you got the coaching. If you want to show that you're actually a good quarterback, time is now. Show him. I also do not. I want to see the Jets perform well, though. I don't hate the Jets. I want to see them perform well because I'm sick and tired of the last 50 years of mediocrity. Zach Wilson did look good in the preseason. He's got a good arm. I'm hoping that he and Mike LaFleur could work well together, as opposed to Gase and Darnold. I love the approach that Robert Saleh has for this team. I like the addition of Corey Davis. The Jets have a solid D-line, which will hopefully make up for the awful secondary. All I'm asking for this year from Wilson is improvement. I know they're not going to be good. I know that they're probably going to go 5-12, maybe at best. But show us that you've got real talent. All I'm asking, Wilson, show us that you have talent. Show us that you can make it in this league. I'm not expecting much from the Jets this season, but I just want you to prove. I just want us to think that by the end of the year that we could be a contender in 2022. That's all. I'm not sure if the Panthers will be good this season, but I think they will be better than the Jets, and I think Darnold has a real good performance. He'll be motivated here in his first game as a Panther at home. Give me the Panthers -4.5. The Jacksonville Jaguars will take on the Houston Texans. The Jaguars are 3-point favorites. This is the train wreck game of the week. The Texans have had the new Coke of off seasons. Their quarterback wanted out, but then it turns out he's a sexual predator, allegedly, and now no one wants him. Will he be traded? Will he be sat out? We have no idea. We are 10 days away from the season. We have no idea what the heck is going to happen with Watson. Is he going to get benched? Is he going to get suspended? We have no idea. The NFL has completely dropped the ball on this. Again, what a surprise. It's a complete mess over there. The Texans are tanking. It's a joke. And then for Jacksonville, even though it'll be fun to see Trevor Lawrence in his first game with Urban Meyer, I think Jacksonville is still really bad. The defense is one of the worst in the league. I think that continues this year. I do think this is the best possible opponent for Lawrence to face, going up against a team in complete free fall. I think Jacksonville will win this game, and I think Houston's going to be the worst team in the league. This game is a complete disaster. Don't even bother watching this game. Give me the Jaguars -3. On Sunday at 4:25, arguably the most anticipated game of the week, the Cleveland Browns take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 6-point favorites. It has the biggest over-under of any game this week with a 53. It's a rematch of last year's AFC Divisional Round matchup. Chiefs won that game. That was when Mahomes got knocked out. Chad Henne saved the day. I don't need to talk about how good Kansas City is. I feel like there's nothing more that needs to be said. They are, I still believe, the most talented team in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, I think, will win MVP this year. I think he's arguably the best quarterback in the league. You got Tyreek Hill. You got Travis Kelce. You got Hartman, who's shown a lot of potential. You got Edwards-Helaire coming back after being hurt. You got Tyrann Mathieu on defense. If there's one nitpick, it's the offensive line, which we saw got destroyed in the Super Bowl. They do have Orlando Brown on the line, so maybe that will improve them there. But I have my concerns. The Browns had an incredible season last year, making the playoffs, winning a game with Baker Mayfield there. I think they'll take a step up this year. I think Baker will take another step up with Nick Chubb. OBJ is back alongside Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett, and Jadeveon Clowney. That's going to be an excellent pass rush there for Cleveland. While I think Kansas City will win this game, I think Cleveland covers. 2 reasons. Cleveland's offense, I think, will excel against Kansas City's run defense. And last year, the Chiefs struggled a lot against covering the spread. And I know, because I bet the Chiefs a lot. And they constantly let me down in terms of covering the spread. I think that continues here. I think that continues once again. I think it will be a close game, fun, competitive game. Maybe the Browns lose by a field goal. I think Kansas City wins, but I think Cleveland covers in this, hopefully, a very exciting game we've got going here. Give me the Browns +6. The Miami Dolphins will face off against the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 3-point favorites. There is some uncertainty with New England quarterback position right now. Patriots drafted Mac Jones to replace Cam Newton eventually, but we don't know when that will be. Belichick has not given an opinion whether or not who will start in week 1. I believe Cam's going to get the start, but I'm not sure. The Patriots had their first losing season since 2000 last year. Cam struggled. His weapons weren't very good. But New England did add a bunch of pieces. About 6 guys who opted out last year. You got Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith at the tight end position. Matt Judon on the defensive line. They got one of the best offensive lines in the game. Pretty much every guy there is elite. And the Patriots also have a nice secondary with Gilmore and McCurdy. Miami, on the other hand, had a pretty nice 2020. Tua showed a lot of promise. He's reunited with Jalen Waddle from Alabama to play alongside Devontae Parker and new acquisition Will Fuller. Miami has one of the best scoring defenses in the league. So I think it's great that they have held on to Xavier Howard, who's one of the best corners in the game. I'm going with the upset in this game. I'm taking the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins roster is just a little bit better. The Dolphins have had a thing of beating New England, of upsetting New England in recent years. There's more certainty around the QB position at this time. I think Miami's defense is going to cause problems for whoever the quarterback is. The Dolphins have a way of just pulling out upsets against New England. I think that will continue here. I know Belichick's great. I think New England will compete for a playoff spot this year, but I like Miami to just barely get the upset here in Foxborough. I think it'll be an exciting, interesting game, and I'm not totally ready to rule out New England yet because it is Belichick, but I think in this game here, I think Miami pulls off the upset. Give me the Dolphins +3. The Green Bay Packers will take on the New Orleans Saints. The Packers are 3-point favorites. Very interesting offseasons for both of these teams. We all know about the problems the Packers have with Aaron Rodgers. We thought he wasn't going to report. Eventually he did. It's all but guaranteed this is his last year with Green Bay. If this is the last dance, I think he's going to go out with a bang. This guy was MVP last year. I don't think he's going to repeat that this year, but I think he'll come close. I think he'll have another terrific season alongside Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. So I'm liking the Packers here. I think they'll be competitive this year. I don't know if they're going to go to the Super Bowl because it's been a decade, and I just can't believe that they've had so many chances to get into the Super Bowl that I want to believe they are, but I just don't see it yet. Now New Orleans, they also had an interesting offseason. Drew Brees, they lost Drew Brees to retirement. They're going to start Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, I might be in the minority. I'm not a believer in Jameis Winston. I know that he's got a good arm, he throws touchdowns, but he also makes a lot of mistakes. His downside is so down. Like, he was the most interesting player in Tampa Bay in 2019. He was so, you never knew if he was going to throw a 70-yard touchdown or pick six. I think that inconsistency from Jameis, that he's so up and down. I think I maybe under Sean Payton he'll turn around, but Bruce Arians is a pretty good coach. So I'm not a believer right now in Jameis. He's going to have some good weapons though. He's got Kamara back. We don't know about Michael Thomas with the injury and the trade rumors, but if he's back, that'll help him. I'm just not convinced that either one of the that Jameis can replace Drew Brees. I'm just not a believer in that. Maybe I'm crazy, but the spread is only 3. Maybe I just cannot believe that the spread is only 3 points here. I know New Orleans is great, but I just think Green Bay is just much better, and I don't understand why the spread's only 3 here. Again, considering how bad Jameis was last year, the last time we saw him. I think Rodgers is going to go. I know he had a nice preseason, but I just think Rodgers is going to go nuts this season. So I don't know how the last dance is going to end, but I think I know how it's going to start with a dominant Green Bay victory. Give me the Packers here, -3. The Denver Broncos will face off against the New York Giants. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. This game is a really bad quarterback battle. The Broncos are going with Teddy Bridgewater. No. Again, I want to believe. I want to see him do well, but I didn't think he had a good year last year. Just not a believer in him right now. The sad thing for Denver is I feel like they've got a lot of good pieces there. And this is not uncommon since Peyton left, but I think they're going to be held back by the quarterback position. Yeah, Sutton coming back after a knee injury. I think he's going to be solid alongside Judy and Patrick and Hamir. Denver's got a good, solid defensive line. Von Miller, Bradley, Chubb, Shelby Harris, Draymond Jones. Patrick Surtain joining Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby and a couple other good corners. As good as this team is, they're not favored to go far because of the quarterback position. So for the Giants, this is a make or break year for Daniel Jones. He had his up and downs with the Giants, mostly down. Now they gave him some solid weapons. They got Saquon back. They got Kenny Galladay. They got Kadarius Toney. Shepard, Slayton are already here. I know a lot of people believe in Evan Ingram. I don't get it, but a lot of people believe in Evan Ingram, so that might be a good thing there. The defense is fantastic. This will be Jones' last year for the Giants if he does not show significant improvements. If he cannot prove that he is a legitimately good quarterback, then this is it for him. I really don't want to pick either team here, but I'm not sold on either one of these guys. I'm not sold on either one of these teams or these quarterbacks. I guess I'm going to go with Denver, though, because I just think the overall team is slightly better. I want to pick the Giants. I really want to, but I got to see more from Jones. And despite the problems with Denver at the quarterback, despite my questions about Bridgewater, I just think Denver's just a slightly better team here. So on the road here, I say Denver gets the victory. Give me the Broncos, -2.5. The Sunday Night Football game, the Chicago Bears against the St. Louis Rams. The Rams are a 7.5-point favorite. Both teams switched quarterbacks this offseason. The Rams traded Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford. I think they won that trade. I'm really excited to see what Stafford's gonna do now out of a dysfunctional franchise. We now see what Stafford does with a really good coach and a good crop of weapons. You got Robert Wood, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, great trio of receivers to throw to, and you got that. You add that with Tyler Higbee at the tight end position. The Rams have a very good defense with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Floyd, Darius Williams. You can see why the Rams are one of the biggest NFC favorites because they've upgraded big time at the quarterback position. We already knew they had a good team, they had a good coach McVay, but now you add Stafford there. I can totally see this team being a legitimate contender. I think they will be. The Bears moved on from Trubisky. They're now deciding between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. It looks like Dalton will get the start for game 1. We don't know if that's going to be the case, though, for the rest of the season. Whoever's starting is going to have Mitchell Robinson to throw to. And unfortunately, that's pretty much it. They're going to try to get something going with Mooney and Kmet, but they're probably going to have their defense come through there. It's just not looking good here for the Bears. This is going to be the first home game for the Rams in their new stadium with fans, so there'll be a great deal of energy in this game, along with the fact that this is Stafford's first game, all the weapons he gets to throw to. I'm just a big believer here in the Rams here in this game. And I'm also not convinced about starting Dalton over Fields. Like, I've seen Andy Dalton quarterback for a decade. He's blah. I just think the Rams are going to win here on Sunday night. I think they're going to win it pretty convincingly. Give me the Rams -7.5. The Monday night game will be the Baltimore Ravens against the Las Vegas Raiders, the first home game for the Raiders in Las Vegas with fans. The Ravens are 4.5-point favorites. Baltimore got the first playoff win of the Lamar Jackson era last year, but still couldn't get past the Bills. I think there will be Super Bowl contenders this year. You got Lamar in his third full season, hoping that he can return to 2019 form after a very frustrating 2020. They did lose J.K. Dobbins, which is rough, but Gus Edwards is still there to help the running game. You improve your receiving core by adding Sammy Watkins, drafting Rashad Bateman. That will keep Baltimore in contention this year. And also their amazing defense because you got McVee, Campbell, Wolf, Bowser, Smith, Peters, Humphreys. That's going to scare a lot of offenses this year, and they're going to be very good against the struggling Raiders offensive line. The Raiders were 8-8 last year. The John Gruden revival has not gone to plan. Derek Carr, it's a pretty big year for him. The Raiders might be getting rid of him if he doesn't have a great year. They might just finally want to move on. He does have some nice talent. They acquired John Brown, Willie Snead in the offseason as well. Josh Jacobs will be joined by Kenyon Drake to improve Vegas' run game. The defense is a big problem, though. They allowed the third most points per game last year. I still think it'll be bad this year. There will be good energy on Monday night in Las Vegas, but it will not be enough to overcome the explosive Ravens run offense against the Raiders defense here. You got Lamar and Edwards. I think that'll be enough here to scare the Raiders. Baltimore starts off 2021 right. Give me the Ravens -4.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to this channel and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe down below for more content just like this every single day. I'll be back next week to give recaps to all the games for Week 1 and also preview Week 2. Take care, and God bless.